The Fudd has played an important role in idiocy, an existence which has been ridiculed and denounced, served misery and annoyance alike, and carries with it gross moral hypocrisy. To understand the Fudd is to better understand idiocy.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of Tales of the Fudd. I am Mike B, and today we've got a couple cool stories from YouTube viewers slash subscribers of their experience with Fuddery at random places. If you don't know what a Fudd is and you're new to the series, which is why I was explaining it in the first 7 episodes at the beginning of each video, you can go back to one of the first 7 videos, and at the beginning I give a pretty detailed explanation of what a Fudd is so everybody was on the same page. It's a certain kind of person, but since I had an innumerable amount of people whining and complaining, and a lot of bleeding vaginas in the past few videos, whining about, we don't need the explanation of a Fudd. We already know if you're watching. They don't understand that people aren't just going to be watching the series the whole way through, and that, you know, some people don't know what a Fudd is. They just want to learn something and find it interesting. So because of that, I'm not going to be able to explain to you what a Fudd is without these people getting butt hurt. So I'm still going to ramble for the same amount of time because apparently they know how the algorithm works for more ads. They think it's still 10 minutes, which it was 3 years ago. And then they changed that to 8 minutes. So it doesn't matter anyway because these stories give me more than 8 minutes. I'm not just rambling. I wasn't just giving the definition to make the video longer. I was doing it so everybody that came in, no matter where they were at in the series, was going to be on the same page. But again, you guys win. Was it really worth whining about? Because I'm still going to ramble for the same amount of time because I can. So yeah, anyway, that's what happened. So yeah, if you want an explanation of a Fudd, very long story short, it's like a casual gun owner that doesn't really care about anything except hunting, that kind of thing. But you can go back and get the longer detailed explanation. Anyway, so we've been doing this where a bunch of people submit their stories or their experiences, good or bad or funny or, you know, educational, and we read them. So I will get started with that. We're on episode 8. So we've got Michael O'Regan. I was at a gun show a few years ago, and this older gentleman had a table full of older Milsurp rifles, some labeled Mausers and other bolt guns. I saw a Mosin on the table and picked it up and knew right away it was a finished capture Mosin. Yep. So the old dude comes up to me, a surprised 23-year-old kid, comes up to me. Punctuation is your friend, guys. It makes it so much easier to read. So the old dude comes up to me, surprised that the 23-year-old kid is looking at that old garbage rod, his words, not mine. So I laugh like, yeah, they suck, huh? And looking the rifle over, I see it's an 1893 dated hex receiver. Well, they were all hex receivers at that point. I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, I'm not kidding, but I'm not trying to be that big of a dick. But yeah, an 1883 dated hex receiver Mosin, and it still has all of its Imperial Russian marks, and just in gorgeous shape, perfect bore and everything. He's going on about how trash they are and how they aren't accurate and all this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I asked how much for the rifle. He says, oh, those used to be $50 back in the day, so I think $100 would be fair to ask now. Thank you! I never pulled out $100 so fast in my life. So I will say, having a little knowledge can be useful, and Fudds can be great if you play dumb with them. Yes. So this is the second story in this series so far of a similar situation. I've had the same thing happen too, and it worked out in my favor. You just play dumb. People are like, oh, it's that old army gun. It's a piece of shit, whatever, blah, 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 garbage rod. Because they used to have them in garbage cans, apparently, at Sears. It's like, okay, why would... Okay, anyway, so yeah, I'm glad that worked out for you, Michael. It's... If you sit there and don't get excited about something, you just let them talk and just bite your tongue, because it's not going to matter anyway. Their mind's not going to change. Their mind's already made up. It's been made up for 60 years. It could work to your advantage. I mean, to get an 1893 dated, finished, captured M91, I would assume, or unless it was a refurbished 9130, for $100, even back in the day, like, that's a pretty damn good deal. So, yeah. Lesson to be learned about this at some point, or in some situations, it's a lot better to just let them spew their diarrhea of the mouth, and you just take advantage of it, walk away, you never have to see them again. So yeah, that's a really good score. I like that, and it's a fun story, of course. Yeah, it's an old garbage. It's a piece of shit. I just like them because they look good on the wall. You know, say shit like that. All right, the okayest gamer. Not about a specific person per se, doesn't have to be, but when I was getting into shooting, one of my coworkers suggested I check out the range he goes to. He said the membership fee was high, but the facility was real nice, had 4 separate ranges for rifles, pistols, shotguns, and bows. You can bring as many guests as you can keep track of for free. You can bring as many guests as you can keep track of for free. He takes his dog out there to walk around the grounds pretty often too. So I go hop online, and sure enough, a lot of what he said was true, plus also a competition range. Unfortunately, he also left out a lot of information that convinced me that this is the fuddiest range I've ever encountered. Yeah, if you've ever encountered a lot of ranges, there are worse, trust me. But we'll get into that. 1, can only shoot once every 3 seconds. Yeah, that's shitty. 2, can only load 10 rounds in the magazine for rifles and pistols, and only 3 for shotguns. Yeah, that's a hunting thing, I think. Yeah, it's definitely a hunting rule. Up here in Wisconsin, that's the thing. For rifle, I'm pretty sure you can have a 10-round magazine. That's it for a semi-auto. And then for duck hunting, it's 3 in the tube for shotgun. We can have as many rounds in a pistol as we want, but that depending where you live, sorry, allergies are horrible, so I'm like coughing up stuff, and I sound like the guy on Rick and Morty with the big gob of shit back in my throat. Yeah, it's been really bad this fall. So winter's coming, and hopefully it gets better. But right now it's kind of bad. All right, sorry about making a whiny excuse. And yeah, so that's probably why they do that for the round limit. Now here's the worst one: must be an NRA member to become a range member, on top of an additional first-time member fee. Needless to say, I looked elsewhere and fortunately found some people to shoot with who more closely align with my views on gun ownership. Okay, that third one is something that Fudds tend to be a member of. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky. Their existence is basically it's a living hypocrisy. That's all it is. It's just they don't even know where they stand. So they'll have all these hunting rifles and stuff, and they'll still be a member of the NRA. It's like, okay, do you understand that's a lobbying group, and it has not been relevant since, the early 1900s. They have just been a lobbying group that's in it for profit and keeping themselves relevant with fighting gun control and stuff like that. You guys, if you're a member of the NRA, you can argue with that. You can argue with me on that all you want. It's a fact. Sure, that does some good things, but it was well intended at the beginning, and it was for shooting programs, for people to get better at marksmanship and safety and all that stuff, and whatever, familiarization. It hasn't been that for a long time. They have not been relevant for several decades now, but they work with the government to lobby for proposed gun legislation, so they have to have something to fight against, so they can keep grifting off people and get money off of people who are dumb and unsuspecting like this. That's why if any group requires that I be a member of the NRA, I run away from it like a burning building, just like this guy did, which is very smart. I don't like lobbying groups of any type. Most groups, if you look deep enough, even newer ones, it always ends up the same way. It's not just the NRA either. It's a bunch of other groups too. The NRA happened to have started with the basis of firearm education and non-malevolent reasons of making sure the government stayed in line. Again, I already just said that. I do not like the fact that these older people support the NRA, who is directly responsible for gun legislation, and these same kind of Fudds don't care about gun legislation. That irritates me. So yeah, again, I see NRA, I run away. That's my opinion. It's not it's not the way you should live. I'm not telling you how to live. That's just the way I am. And that's the way this guy is too. So, sorry. I'm trying to clear my throat. Anyway, so yeah, I'm glad you looked elsewhere and had luck finding a range. That's really good. That's a really bad thing. Those 3 criteria, it's like, then why even have a range? But anyway, thanks for sharing that, the okayest gamer. Lawrence Glover. I was at a public range once, and I saw a gentleman break the 1 round every 5 seconds rule when he accidentally double tapped once. Guy was probably in his early 30s and had a pretty nice Yugo SKS. As the RSO is walking the guy off, he points to me and says, "Why can't you young kids be like this boy here and use a bolt action like respectable folk?" I had a Lee Enfield No. 4 Mark II. Nice rifles. When he came back, my friend who had brought out his Ishapore 2A1 looks to me and says in a fake British accent, "Should we give this the show, old boy?" I tossed a grin his way as the RSO returned and said another scolding remark about assault weapons to people at the range using AR-15s. Then about 3 minutes later, the RSO was escorting my friend, I'm assuming NI, or this person, away from the range. My friend and I have a fondness for rapid fire with our Lee Enfields, and we're quite proud of the fact that we were the first people kicked off that range for violating rapid fire with a bolt action. Awesome. I'm pretty sure another YouTube subscriber, Goat-tacular, did a similar thing with his Enfield about the no rapid fire shit. This is awesome. I can just imagine. That's beautiful. Your friend is awesome for the "should we give the show, old boy?" Just going mad second. Just mag dumping and then getting escorted out the range. That's beautiful. I love stories like this. Yeah, it's those freaking rules. It's like shooting has changed, since the 1800s, where you've got 1 or 2 rounds a minute. Like you could actually pull the trigger more than once in a second and it'll fire a round. And that's how modern firearms work. And it's cool. It's technology. It improves, just like vehicles have improved. Not everybody, I think somebody said this in the comment, not everybody's got a 4-bottle T in their backyard. Cars have evolved since then, so have firearms. So I don't understand that stupid rule. It doesn't apply at my ranges or the private land that I go and hunt on. So, but I can see where people can be stupid with it if they're not experienced, but good God, give people the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, I'm really glad that you guys showed them that you can shoot an Enfield just as fast as you can shoot an AR-15 with well-aimed shots. And that's great, the comment and shit. And then the RSO probably had a heart attack going, oh, you guys are shooting bolt guns? Yeah, but anyway, that's really cool. I love all 3 of these stories are pretty good. They're kind of all different. The first one ended up in a good outcome, got a nice rifle that's going to be appreciated by an actual collector, not somebody that just treats it as a piece of shit. The LKS Gamer, you did your research, and before you got screwed with all that money putting into this on a shitty range, you did research and found out, oh, these are 3 signs that range is going to suck. And then Lawrence with they're having some fun trolling the Fudd RSO with Enfields. I love that. So anyway, thank you guys for submitting those stories. If you guys want to have your story read in one of these episodes, perhaps, just throw it down in the comment section. Try not to make shit up just to be funny and edgy. Like, just make sure it's a real story. It's pretty easy to tell if somebody's making a story up, so don't even waste your time if you're going to do that. I have to say that because I got a lot of people that are just trying to be funny, and hate to break it to you, you're not. But anyway, these are all stories. You can tell they're real because there's no bloviating. It's just fun, and it's experiences that I've personally gone through as well. So anyway, yeah, if you want to have your thing read, or you can look me up on Facebook, Mike B, and go to my page. It's not my personal page, but like my YouTube channel page. You'll see it's me. I think there's a German M16 helmet and all that stuff. You can send me a message on there if you so choose, and I might read your story on an episode of Tales of the Fudd. Anyway, so yeah, I want to take this time to thank the sponsors of my video, all my Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. So you guys have made it a lot of really cool things awesome, including this excellent and spectacular and super de-duper new Fudd hat for this series. And it's actually really comfortable, to be honest with you. Sorry. But yeah, anyway, so Patreon support and channel membership really helps me be able to afford props like this, different equipment like this, the new microphone this year, as you guys have probably noticed. Ammunition, stuff for that, ballistic tests. Like Devin K and I were doing a lot of helmet ballistic tests on a lot of really pricey helmets this year, which Patreon really helped offset, so we were able to do some really cool tests that we wouldn't have been able to do just funding out of pocket. So that really helps. $5 a month or more on either method of support gets you into my Discord server. Pretty fun. There's a lot of people on there, a lot of really knowledgeable people, a lot of information is exchanged. There's a bunch of different, channels in there for different kind of military stuff, firearms, you name it, shit posting. It's really fun. I like it. So anyway, that's incentive for you to do that if you so choose. Now, if you want to support the channel, but you don't, or you can't do it financially, I understand that 100%. I get that. You can still support my work as the usual ways that you support your other content creators as well, by giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell if that even does anything, and throwing what you think down in the comment section, and sharing this video out if you thought this was funny, kind of entertaining, somebody would be able to relate or whatever, just you want to share the video out. That's a great way to support my work too. So those are perfectly viable options as well. And if you're in the third category and you're like, nah, screw this guy, I don't really want to support him at all, well, you already have by watching this video. So I do appreciate everyone who's watched and who will be watching my videos in the future. And we'll see you on the next episode of Tales of the Fudd.